Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fast Flag Facts with John, the show where we look at flags from around the world and use it as a lens to look at the history and culture of some of the most interesting places on the planet. I really hope you enjoyed last week's episode about the flag of Detroit. It's one of my personal favorites. Today we are going to look at one of the heavy hitters, one of the most beloved flags in the world of vexillology. We're going to look at the flag for the city of Amsterdam. So this flag is actually very old. Despite the fact that it looks kind of modern, the flag goes back almost 1,000 years. As such, we have no idea who actually invented or created this flag. We do know that this current version of the flag was adopted in the year 1975, so credit could probably go to the City Council of Amsterdam in the year 1975 for making it official. However, the symbolism on the flag is actually quite ancient. So either way, we actually have no idea who invented this flag. We have no clue. All right, what is on the flag? So the flag is a horizontal tricolor with two red stripes along the top and the bottom and a black stripe in the middle. Along the black stripe are three white X's, also called St. Andrew's crosses. Basically, anytime you see an X of any kind, whether it's like long or short, anytime you see an X on a flag, it's going to be called a St. Andrew's cross. To tease it again, the imagery on this flag is very old. It is so old that no one is really sure of the symbology. There's a couple of rumors or urban legends about the symbology that I want to talk about, but none of these are official. All right, so first of all, a lot of people think that the three crosses represent magical wards against disaster, specifically fires, floods, and the Black Plague. The idea being that the flag and its symbology is supposed to protect the city against maladies during the Middle or Dark Ages. This is probably unlikely because the imagery predates the Black Plague and its ravaging across Europe. So it's very unlikely that the X would represent a thing that didn't exist yet. Because the Netherlands is so deeply tied to its canal and river systems, a lot of flags in the Netherlands use water symbology and have something that is supposed to represent the river. So some people think that the black stripe in the Amsterdam flag is supposed to represent the river Amstel, which runs through the city. If that is the case, the three crosses may represent three areas along the Amstel River where it was shallow enough that you could cross, that you could ford the river. This is probably the most likely explanation, only because there is not really any evidence that goes against this symbology. Now, the city of Amsterdam has an official motto. I don't speak Dutch, but the motto is Heldhaftig, Vastberaden, Barmhartig. This translates to heroic, resolute, and merciful. So some people think that the three X's represent those three words that make up the city motto. However, the motto is actually quite new. It is from the year 1947. And again, this flag is hundreds of years old. Another really popular theory is that the three X's represent Amsterdam's red light district. Certainly for international tourists, the fact that Amsterdam has a very vibrant sex industry is something that is worth noting. However, once again, those three X's go back hundreds of years, well before Amsterdam had a established red light district and was famous for it. So it is very unlikely that that has anything to do with it. So in summary, no one knows what any of this stuff means on this flag. All right, when? This is where we actually know some things. The story of this flag starts with the Persen or the Pessine family. They were an early noble family in the region, and their origins in this part of what is now in the modern-day Netherlands dates back to at least the year 990, well over 1,000 years ago. They had a coat of arms that they were using in the late 900s that looked like this, and you can see that it features stripes and St. Andrew's crosses, even though they are different colors. Now, one specific member of this family, a knight named Jan Persien, was the Lord of Amsterdam in 1280. And so the family became very much tied in with the origins of the city, and the coat of arms for the city of Amsterdam dates back to around this year. And you can see that the coat of arms for Amsterdam features a shield, or an escutcheon, with that same red and black and three white X symbology. Now, the coat of arms for the city of Amsterdam has also gone through many changes. In the 1400s, they added that crown on the top. The lions were added in the 1500s, and that motto, as I said earlier, was added in 1947. So we have this escutcheon on the shield, which is essentially a sideways version of the modern flag. So we can tell for a fact that eventually this became the flag. However, we have no idea when it happened. sometime after the year 1280, and we also know for a fact that it was a flag by the year 1928. In the year 1928, the Olympics were held in Amsterdam, and a lot of the posters and promotional material for those Olympics feature the modern Amsterdam flag, so we know that that flag existed in 1928. We also do have some historical flags, at least between the years 1600 and 1900, and even into the 1960s there are some other variations. So the city was using flags that were different from the modern flag, at least until the mid-20th century. And so again, we don't really know the origins of when this flag came about. All we know is that in the year 1975, a flag that had already existed for a long time became the official flag. All right, so where you are able to see this flag is all over the city of Amsterdam. This is an extremely popular flag to the people of the city, and it is flown all over the place, from very, very large flags to little bunting flags. And the popularity of the Amsterdam flag is one of the reasons why vexillologists talk about it. The very famous TED Talk given by a man named Roman Mars, which is kind of one of the inspirations of this YouTube channel, features this flag heavily. Roman Mars makes the good point that the entire purpose of having a flag is to fly it. And so one of the definitions of a successful flag and what makes it a good flag is that people use it. And so he holds up the Amsterdam flag as one of the best flags in the world just because it is so popular. I believe he called it one of the most badass flags in creation. Another place that you're going to see this flag is in a lot of cheeky, sort of pseudo-sexual tchotchkes and souvenirs. Because of the 3X connection, even though, as I said earlier, it does not relate to the red light district, a lot of tourist tchotchkes and souvenirs use the flag in relation to or making a joke towards the fact that the city has a very famous red light district. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this flag is twofold. Number one, it is probably one of the top flags of all time. Vexillologists absolutely love this flag, and they love to talk about it, and they love to fly it in their homes. And so I thought it was high time to talk about it on my vexillology channel. On the other hand, I have a bit of a hot take about this flag, and so I want to voice a little bit of dissent on the popular discourse of the Amsterdam flag. I agree that this flag looks cool. I think that for how old it is, the fact that it looks so modern and that it informs a lot of the aesthetic of what modern flags are doing is very cool. However, there is virtually no story behind this flag. Something that I like about flags is that flags can tell a story about the history or the culture or the values of a people. This flag does not tell a story. No one knows what the symbology means, and the only thing that they can do is sort of make light guesses. The colors, the shapes, they have all lost their actual meaning to history. I love how this flag looks, and I'm not suggesting that it be changed, but I'm not sure if I really place it in that all-time great tier because it doesn't tell a story. Compare this to last week's flag. Even though I think that the Detroit flag probably needs to be updated and aesthetically is not as beautiful, you cannot say that the Detroit flag does not tell a story that is accurate to the history and culture and the beliefs of the people who live there. And so in summary, I think that this is a cool flag, but I don't agree that it's the best flag. There's not so much to talk about. All right, everybody, that does it for this week's episode of Fast Flag Facts. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the history of the Amsterdam flag. What are your thoughts? Is the Amsterdam flag a good flag or a bad flag? Do you care that it doesn't really have a story behind it? Is that not important to you? What is important to you when you're thinking about what flags you like or that you dislike? Go ahead and leave a comment below. Also, be sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. I am crawling my way up to 100 subscribers, and I am looking forward to that day when I can cross that threshold. Next week, we're going to look at another country level flag. We are going back to Asia to look at one of the only flags in the world to feature a dragon on it. We're going to look at the flag of Bhutan.